week, so watch.
Hello,
Constable.
and welcome to Truth or Politics. I'm your host, Darlene Price, and tonight we have the Sheriff's Debate, the McCreary County Sheriff's Debate. And before we get started, folks, we want to, of course, always thank our listeners on Facebook. We are on YouTube now, and of course, our loyal MBRTV and the folks behind the scene, David and Steve Hall and Michael Mann that does a lot of the work behind the scenes. We want to thank all of them and all of you guys out there for watching this. Before we get started in the debate, also, we are about to launch what we've been promising you for like 6 months. We've been working hard on this. It's called Lake Cumberland, What Lies Beneath. MBRTV will be airing it probably sometime next week. They get first shot at it because they've been loyal to us. They get the exclusive, and so we're going to be loyal to them. After that, we will upload part 1 and part 2 on Facebook, but also it will be on YouTube, where all of our stuff now is going on YouTube. So we have a YouTube site too. You just type in Truth or Politics, you'll see our little owl, and there you go. This is going to be an exclusive story about what's really going on at Lake Cumberland and the Somerset wastewater treatment plant. Some very jaw-dropping evidence that we've come across that we think is going to be very informative for you all. So be looking for that in the next couple of weeks, and we need to get started here. First, we want to welcome these gentlemen, and I just want to say it takes a lot of guts to show up to these debates. Everybody that's showed up, you know, it's not easy getting up here and having a camera shoved in your face and, you know, and have to answer questions. So we appreciate when people show up. We really do. What we're going to do first is we're going to do like a little 2-minute opening, and make sure you guys look at the camera when you're talking, because I know it's tempting because I'm asking you questions to look at me. Try to look at the camera so people can see you. And just do a 1-minute introduction of yourself, your name. Make sure you state your name and that type of thing. And these guys are going to take turns going first too. He'll go first, and then the next question he'll go first. And they're going to keep me straight because I will lose track. So we'll start off with you. Go ahead and do your opening remarks to the camera.
I think that they ought to be more patrols at the county. You got since David and Gus quit, they was checkpoints and that thing. They ought to be. Plenty of them. And that'd stop what's coming in this county.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, open remarks.
Me?
Your turn.
Okay. Well, I'm David Sampson. I'm your Republican candidate from McCrary County Sheriff. Tell you a little bit about myself. I've got over 37 years in law enforcement. I've worked every facet of law enforcement there is. I've been a deputy jailer. I retired as a park ranger, was a detective for 7.5 years, and currently school resource officer. And I've got some great ideas. I've got a department already set up. I've got a female deputy, and I'll see more when I get in there, you know, what I can do. I don't know what all I can do when I get in there, but I've got some good ideas for the county. Plan on working with the public a lot, and I think we'll have a good department. That's it.
Okay, first question. Okay, you went first this time, you go first this time. And we'll just bounce back and forth and try to keep me straight, guys, okay? Please describe what you believe to be the duties of the office of sheriff in the state of Kentucky.
The duties, I think there's a lot of duties. Of course, I mean, tax collection. I think the sheriff is the top officer in the county. So law enforcement, and I think he can guide people on, I mean, like, you know, we have the issue of trash and all this stuff, and I think his place to keep his people in line. You know, that's about it.
Okay. Same question.
Okay, there's a lot of things the sheriff can do. He can take and educate kids to sell drugs, stuff like that, put in the newspaper all the time, but he don't. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
And you got, what something blew my mind was, I was looking on Google at some candy. You know them, they're gummy bears. Some of them candy like that is laced with drugs.
Yeah.
Fentanyl, meth,
They
and
are.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
That needs to be stopped 100%. And I think that there's a lot of drugs that comes in this county, it can be stopped by Kentucky road checks. You see what I'm saying? They try to hide it, you find it.
Okay,
And they do need to go to jail for that. And another thing is, whenever you call the sheriff's office, there will be somebody there to answer the phone.
Yep.
all right, next question. So you went first this time, you're back to going first again. If I'm wrong, call me on it, guys. What type of training is required, if any, to meet the requirements of this office? This is a two-part question. For example, academic, physical, etc. And do you believe the sheriffs should have recurrent training for their office, and what should that training be?
Well, say a sheriff, he collects taxes, okay? I think that we got a, what is it, occupational tax here? Okay, they take that occupational tax and pay them deputies. But what I can't figure out is why, if they're taking people's taxes to pay them deputies, how do they pay them? I want to understand it.
Okay. Same question. Want me to read it again?
Reread it.
I can reread any question you guys
I can't
want. You can
remember.
reread it. Okay. What type of training is required, if any, to meet the requirements of this office, for example, academic, physical, etc.? And do you believe the sheriffs should have recurrent training for their officers, and what should that training be?
Okay. Yeah, I think the sheriff is required to go to the Sheriff's Association training. Now, we go to Department of Criminal Justice 40 hours a week. And it's pretty, I require that. Well, it is a requirement for all the deputies. And, but it's a yearly training. And, I think that's about it, really.
Can I say one more time?
Wait till it's your turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I believe that every deputy and sheriff they both ought to have to take a drug test, period.
Okay. So we done with that question, right?
Mhm.
Okay, next question. Let's see, somebody else is going first this time. Which
It
one?
doesn't matter.
He goes first this time, okay. Well, I'm trying to be fair. People watching, I'm telling you, some of the viewers, man, they'd be jumping on me. They'll jump on me if I don't try to keep it fair. Oh, yeah. We have very active vocal viewers. And by the way, I almost forgot to say this. These questions are not my questions. What we do is several months before we know the debates are coming, we put it out. And then people private message me about these. And if your question isn't, most of these are the same questions. I'll get like 30 people sending me, one topic. And I'm not going to ask the same question 30 different ways. So I try to just, roll it into one question if it's about trash or theft or whatever. So these are we the people's questions. Every one of these questions has been sent to me in some form or another from we the people. So these aren't my questions. This is the viewers on Facebook and MBRTV and stuff. These are their questions. Okay, so next question. What do you believe is the largest law enforcement related problem in McCrary County, and what is your plan to address this issue?
I think the largest is probably, I think we have several issues, but I think drugs, absolutely number one.
100%.
And I've got some plans. Like I said, I can't tip my whole hand right now, but I've got an officer coming. He's willing to leave the federal prison to come work for me. He's going to be nothing but a drug agent. Going to be undercover. Just wear what we're wearing, and do nothing, and I'll equip him very well with the things he needs. And I've seen this work in Pulaski County. I've seen it work, and it'll work here. And that's my biggest plan right now. I've got other ideas, but that's it.
Your turn.
It's drugs,
Question, that's okay.
100%. And I think most of our drug problem comes from China, period. And it does. It's fentanyl meth, I know this. And the best president we ever had was Donald Trump, and he was telling the truth about that. I know he was.
Okay. Next question. So who went first last time?
I
Okay,
did.
he goes first this time. We clearly have a theft problem in the county. What is your plan as sheriff to address this issue?
Well, you can set stuff out and use it as bait. Do you understand what I'm saying? Say, if you found a $20 bill laying on the ground, would you take it?
I would pick it up and find out who owned it.
But you turn it in, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the right thing to do. You wouldn't stick it in your pocket and say, it's mine now.
No, I mean, I'd stick it in my pocket so I wouldn't lose it, but then I'd go find out who owns it.
That's like a car. A car got a serial number on it. And if you go to somebody's house and they got somebody's car and that serial number shows they got the car, they need to go to jail for that. They ain't no getting by it. Stealing, no.
Okay, we're done with that question. All right. This is the one that really chaps my hide more than any other. Well, I mean, they all do. I'm not saying one form. This really bothers me because this is affecting our county. It's really affecting our tourism and everything, and that's this trash problem. We clearly have a littering problem, especially along the roadways in McCrary County. What could you do as sheriff to address this problem? Who was first this time?
Me?
He didn't,
Okay, go ahead.
he didn't answer the theft question either.
What?
The theft question.
Oh,
Anything?
theft question. I'm sorry. I told you gotta keep me
Okay.
straight. Go back to the theft question. Answer the theft question first. I'm sorry, I'm tired. Go ahead.
What would I do about theft?
Theft. Let's do theft first.
Okay. Well, like I said, where I was detective 7.5 years, that was my passion, investigations. So I lined myself up with a good team, and I mean, that's the only way we can take care of it. Have a hard-working team.
Alrighty. I'm sorry. I totally.
You're okay.
See, you guys gotta keep me straight. I didn't get much sleep last night. Okay. Now, back to my pet peeve. Littering. Okay, we clearly have a littering problem, especially on the roadways. What could you do as sheriff to address this problem?
You're right.
Me?
Who goes first this time? Him? I'm sorry.
That's a big issue. I mean, I seen it when I was driving up here. I think, and I know it would take some expense, but I think cameras, I think if we collaborated with Fish and Wildlife, Park Service, get them to help us, get public input, call line, where they can call into the sheriff's office. I mean, that's about the only way I know we can beat it.
Okay.
There's people with cell phones and they get cameras on. You take a picture of somebody throwing something out, give them a ticket. But I think the ticket needs to be higher than what it is. But the sheriff ain't got nothing to do with that. But, we can enforce the law, that's all we can do.
Okay. We also have a loose dog problem in the county. Is there anything you as sheriff can do to address this issue? I think he's first this time.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, we got a dog warden. Call him, that's all I can say. And it's his job. If he'll answer the phone.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, that is a big issue. And that's a big job. And, I know Milford stays busy with it. But the only other thing I can think of is, the people coming together and maybe, helping him out, you know, catching the dogs, taking them to the pound, and give him a hand, you know. It's a big issue, but that's about all I can think of.
Okay. What would you do as sheriff? Oh, I forgot.
Keep up your fingers crossed they come pick the dog up.
Well, I thought I skipped you. Okay, so I did skip you. Both people did this. I'm sorry. I didn't get much sleep last night. We're working hard on this Lake Cumberland thing. I've lost many a night's sleep over this documentary coming out. Anyways, next question. What would you do as sheriff to make your office become more transparent to the public? David's first.
Me? Well, when you're talking about transparency, I think people have mistrust of the sheriff's, you know, the law all over the country. I think they do, and I think the people that know me here that I've worked with, I think I can clear that up. I'd have an open door policy, an online module that the people could look at our policies, procedures, and contact us. And, you know, just meet the public. I think that's what I do.
You know, I think that the open door policy is a good idea. That's really good. You got the sheriff's report, okay? The sheriff's report's a good idea, but whenever somebody's arrested for DUI or whatever, they need to have another article of what happened in that case. You see what I'm saying? If the guy lost his driver license, went to jail for 6 months, a year, whatever, it needs to be right there in that paper. And it ought to be the sheriff's responsibility to do that.
Okay. Both of you guys answered that question, right? Okay. Has the fact that we do not have a jail had an effect on this office, and what would you request or do in order to help this situation?
Me? Okay. If they needed if I had an extra deputy that could take a prisoner to another jail that they got, we ain't got a jail here, but, you know, I could help them do that, you know, transport a person to that jail, whatever. But I think we need a jail. But, I mean, the sheriff can't do nothing about it, but, you know, that's the only thing I can do about it.
Your turn.
Read that again.
Has the fact that we don't have a jail had an effect on this office? And what would you request or do in order to help this situation?
It's absolutely had an effect on it. I think it's devastated the county. The sheriff. As far, I mean, I agree with your statement. I mean, all we can do is transport the people.
Mm-hmm.
And
Go ahead, have a
as of
seat.
right now, that's about the only thing I can think of.
Okay. Right. If it's okay with you two, what we will do is we'll finish these, and then I'll go back and run through these again
That's fine.
too. That way, everybody, you still have the same time. Is that all right? Is that our
That's
cameraman
fine.
cool?
That's
Is that
fine.
okay?
Yeah.
Because I know you got held up over in Louisville. Okay. So, but this is the question we're on right now. Or were you done? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Were you done?
Yeah, I was done. Yeah.
Okay. So this question was on. Okay. And you guys got to keep me straight because I'm just telling them I didn't sleep good last night. So I'm like messing this up big time. Has the fact that we don't have a jail had an effect on this office? And what would you request or do in order to help the situation?
It has that effect on the sheriff's office. We was transported to Leslie County, which I think it was an hour and 45 minutes away. Now we're in Knox, which is an hour away, and it's helped tremendously. But without having a jail, you know, it costs us the county a lot of money. I think we got 100 and something people in jail right now.
Yeah.
And that's almost $1.3 million, or $100,000 a month that it costs us the county. And in a year's time, it's $1.3 million. And if we had a jail, that saves money on gas, especially gas the way it is now. and transport officers, and we got people employed in the county.
Okay. Everybody answered that one, right? Jail, all right. Keep me straight, guys, I'm telling you. Okay. So then you'll go first this time, okay? Do you think that technology could better serve this office, serve the office of sheriff in doing their job? And what would you choose for that technology to be, and why? Why would you choose that technology?
Well, we put a lot of technology in the sheriff's office. We have computers in all of our deputies' cars now, and we're hooked up to where we can we can run your license plate, we can do NCIC, we can check and see if anything's stolen, like a gun or something. We've got body cams now. We have new computers and stuff in the offices where we can do our work better. Collecting taxes, we have one of them things that, I forget what it's called, where you
Scanner.
scan your tax bill and it automatically read it and you pay it.
Okay. You next. Technology. You want to read it again?
Yeah.
Question, sorry. Do you think that technology could better serve the office of sheriff in doing their jobs? And what would you choose for that technology to be, and why?
Well, you got people coming here from other states, and if you run on like social media, you'll know exactly where they're from, run their address and everything, right? It ought to be in the critters, in the cars, in the laptops. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Back to the sheriff's report. It's a good thing to have a sheriff's report, but like what case of person being drunk or whatever, what become of that case? See what I'm saying? That ought to be right there, right on. Everybody should be able to see that.
Okay. Technology. Did you already answer that?
Okay, yeah, I mean, I agree with what both these gentlemen said. Now, the only thing I do different too, I plan on hiring an intel analyst that does nothing but technology. When I was detective, we had one that was amazing and just a big asset to the department. So other than what they said, that's the only thing I do.
I call that a computer genius.
Yeah.
Okay, did everybody answer the technology question? Okay, keep me straight, guys, I'm sorry. Okay. Do you believe that all elected officials, especially anyone involved in law enforcement and/or incarceration, should have to take periodic random drug screenings?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he touched on that earlier, yes. I think they should, we have to take them at the school, I mean,
That's right.
periodically.
You should, because KCO is their insurance company, and if you get out and have a wreck and they'll do blood work on you if the officer has a wreck. And if you've got something in your system, then you got a lawsuit and the insurance company's in trouble, and so is the county and the officer, and they get served.
Okay. Everybody answer that? All right. What do you think makes a good sheriff, and if elected, what would you do to improve the office of sheriff? Who went first last time? So him, you go first this time.
What makes a good sheriff?
What makes a good sheriff, and if elected, what would you do to improve the office of sheriff?
Well, I think what makes a good sheriff is dealing with the people. Having a good department. You know, not having abusive people work on your, you know what I'm saying, on your staff. So, but I think the main thing is dealing with the people.
I am a good sheriff. I probably work anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day. Sometimes I may work 7 days a week. I've worked like a couple months and never had a day off. Your deputies play a big part in having a good office and having a good sheriff. And a lot of times, you know, sometimes you got to get a little abusive with people. It's according to how they act. We try to treat people the way that they treat us. Sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you got to do things a little different. It's just like we have tasers, and using that taser, sometimes you got to deploy it because people just won't obey your command and stuff. And your office staff, it plays a big difference in being the sheriff too.
Okay,
Absolutely.
your turn.
deputies and the sheriff having respect for people and people having respect for them.
Okay, so everybody answered that one? Okay, I'm gonna run back up to the top and we'll go through these kind of quickly and then, then we'll do the close. Is that all right? Is that cool with everybody? Okay. Please describe what you believe to be the duties of sheriff in the state of Kentucky.
The duties of the sheriff in the state of Kentucky is to collect taxes and try to serve and protect the people.
Okay. What type of training is required, if any, to meet the requirements of this office and, for example, academic, physical, etc.? And do you believe the sheriff should have recurrent training for their officers, and what would that training be?
They're not nothing other than you gotta be, I think, 25-year-old, live in the state of Kentucky for 2 years to actually be a sheriff. There's nothing says you gotta be academy trained, but they should be. So, something in play should say that, hey, you gotta meet these standards to sign up and run for sheriff. And then what was the rest of it?
Let's see. What would your training be, and do you believe that sheriffs should have recurrent training for their officers, and what should that training be?
They do, because we have 40-hour training every year, which is mandatory. And the reason for that is so these deputies can get collected.
Okay. What do you believe is the biggest law enforcement related problem in McCrary County, and what is your plan to address this issue?
Drugs is the number one problem. And in McCrary County, you know, our tax base ain't the biggest in the world. It plays a big part on what we can and we can't do. We have a Lake County Drug Task Force who tries to help us some, and other agencies, which we get along good and try to work together to solve this problem. I got elected in 2015. We have done numerous drug busts and search warrants and took people to the grand jury. We put 18 people in 2016 in the federal penitentiary for selling drugs, and each one of them got close to the minimum of around 15 to 20 years.
Okay. We clearly have a theft problem in our county. What is your plan as sheriff to address this issue?
Well, theft problems comes right along with the drug problem. I mean, it's hand in hand. And when it comes to theft, when we come out, if we can get fingerprints, we will. We try to talk to the neighbors to see if anybody sees anything. Search around, see if any camera systems on any buildings or anything, so we can go talk to them and maybe get some video. And if we do, we take them to either go to Austin and get a warrant, or either go to the grand jury and try and indict them.
Okay. We clearly have it near and dear to my heart, and I say that the opposite. This is my pet peeve in this county. Okay, we clearly have a littering problem, especially along the roadways. What could you do as sheriff to address this problem?
On littering, you know, the roadside is not a place to throw your garbage. It ain't a dump. If we catch you littering, we'll either write you a ticket or take you to jail, and then whenever we get you in front of the county attorney, he's going to throw the book at you for littering.
Okay. We also have a loose dog problem here in the county. Is there anything the sheriff can do to also address this issue?
That's a situation that we have a lot of dog calls. I think the KRS says that if a dog is attacking your livestock, or you feel that you're in danger for your life, if it's on your property, you're allowed to shoot that dog. Okay. Also, we have people that love their pets, and we have people that complain about their pets being on their property, barking and chewing up and stuff like that. But I wish Mr. Creekmore was here, because he's animal control, and he could probably answer that a little better than me.
Okay. What would you do as sheriff to make your office become more transparent to the public?
Well, as of right now, we work hand in hand with all law enforcement. And that's KSP, FBI, DEA, Lake County Drug Task Force, and it's doing that. We share information, and we have social media. We have Facebook. We have the newspaper. And I have an open door policy. You can come in and talk to me or any of my deputies anytime that you want to, from 8:30 to 4:30. We'll open that office. But you can also call 911 and get a hold of me anytime.
Has the fact that we don't have a that's where we left off. Okay, so everybody's answered all of these, right? Okay, so we're good. Everybody's had a chance to answer every one of these questions. Okay. If I'm wrong, tell me, guys. Okay. So now what we're going to do is everybody will have a 2-minute closing. You don't have to use all 2 minutes, just, you know, look in the camera. Don't look at me, look at the camera. And
Looking up.
who went first last time? Who went first
I
last
have
time?
no clue.
Somebody go first and just do a 2 minute and then take turns doing a 2 minute closing.
Don't matter.
Well, you want to go first? Go ahead, go first. Let him go first. Okay, 2 minute closing.
2 minutes. My close-
I'm not timing you. Most people don't even use a minute. So.
30 seconds.
You don't have to 2 minutes.
My closing is going to be kind of like my opening. Like I said, you know, I've got 37 years experience, a little over. I think there's resources in this county that we can collaborate with. Social services, big asset, probation, parole. If I get in, I'm going to try to put the school resources officer under me. And you don't know what an impact they have on these young kids, like in second, third grade. I mean, they adore them. But that's part of my plans. I got a good team put together. My chief, can I go ahead and name my chief deputy?
What? It's your 2 minutes. Do
Okay.
what, you can say whatever you want.
Outstanding. He's one of my SROs, Stephen Hill. He worked KSP, KVE. He did 3 years with the Williamsburg Police Department. Outstanding guy. And I'm going to rely on him a lot, but he's a good guy. But that's part of my plans right now. So.
Your turn.
Well, first of all, I want to apologize for being a little late. We had Brandon Bond, who got COVID back in November 2021, and he's been in the hospital since then. He just got released today about 12 o'clock from Louisville, and we brought him home with an escort. He's had double lung transplants, and he's doing great. And, you know, like I say, I've been sheriff for 2015, and I want to continue being your sheriff. I think I've done a lot for McCrary County. When I first started, I think we may have had 2 or 3 cars that you probably couldn't get the Pinehawk back. You'd probably be walking before you got back to the sheriff's office. And we've got a lot of equipment that we've updated. We've got new vests, we've got radios, we've got computers, we've got tasers, and we've come a long ways. We've come a long ways collecting taxes. And we try to treat everybody the way we want to be treated with respect. And in November, I want to ask for your vote for sheriff again. Sheriff Randy Waters, thank you.
Your turn.
I call it respect. Respect for the sheriff and the deputies, and I call it respect from the deputies and the sheriff to the people. And I hope I get your vote. That's all I need to say.
Okay, folks. We want to have a big round of applause for these gentlemen showing up because you know, this ain't easy to do, you know, and I know people watching this think, well, I can do that. Yeah, well, if you've never been in front of a camera, you know, we're used to it. You know, I'm used to it because we do it every week. But if you're not used to this and somebody sticks a camera in your face and starts firing questions at you, it is not. How easy is it, guys? Is it easy?
I only looked at the camera one time.
It's not easy. So we want a big round of applause for these guys. Sit back down for a minute, sit down for a minute. And we want to thank them. We also want to thank our viewers on Facebook. We want to thank the MBRTV's T-Ball and his people behind the scenes, and also Michael Mann that will be uploading this. We hope to be uploaded by noon tomorrow. We are back on YouTube again, folks, and we want to remind everybody that it's coming. I know we've been promising this again for 6 months, folks. It's coming. Lake Cumberland, what really lies beneath. This is one hell of a story, and we put a lot of work and effort into this. And it's going to be very informative, and we hope you guys will all go on YouTube or Facebook. MBRTV is going to get first shot at it as an exclusive because they've been so loyal to us, and we owe them that loyalty. But it will be uploaded on YouTube. It will be uploaded on Facebook. It's going to be in 2 parts. Part 1 is going to be about a little bit over an hour. Part 2 is going to be a little under 2 hours. And there's a lot of evidence that you guys are going to see that are just going to be jaw-dropping, to say the least. So be looking for that. And again, we want to thank these gentlemen for showing up. We have another debate next. I should have brought my list with me. We will post, I forget what the next debate is. What is it? It's magistrates, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we got the magistrates coming up, so these will be, I know, it's been a long week, folks, I'm telling you. We have magistrates coming up, so next Thursday, I think, is Magistrate District 1. We're doing 1, 2, 3. I think one of them, though, doesn't have any competition, so we won't do that. But anyways, we have debates pretty much every Thursday night until the election, and the election is coming up in May, is the primary election. So this is for the primary election coming up in May. Anyway, we want to thank you all, and we will see you next time on Truth or Politics. Thank you.